Where did Luxembourg come from? Short answer, here. Long answer, buckle up for a history hot tip. In the year 963 AD, feudal Europe was a patchwork quilt of domains ruled by kings, counts, and abbots. Well, that hilltop grew into the town and eventually the fortress that became the heart of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, one of the world's oldest surviving sovereign states. So who was our boy Siegfried? He wasn't royalty. As the younger son of a minor noble house in what is now Belgium and Germany, his options for advancement were limited. By the late Middle Ages, Luxembourg had become one of the largest states in Western Europe, encompassing parts of present-day Belgium, France, and Germany. By the 18th century, the Low Countries fell under the rule of the Austrian branch of the Habsburg dynasty. While the territory of Luxembourg itself was divided between France and the Netherlands, the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, named for its former ruling dynasty, is one of the founding members of the European Union and the world's wealthiest country by GDP per capita. But when the Dutch Republic was invaded by Napoleon in 1795, France briefly annexed the entire territory. And all of this traces back to one fateful transaction in the year 963 AD, when a lesser noble named Siegfried of Ardennes purchased a small hilltop that came with a dilapidated Roman villa and a whole lot of potential. After Napoleon's defeat, the Congress of Vienna restored the House of Orange as sovereign rulers of the United Kingdom of the Netherlands and a buffer state between France and the rest of the German Confederation. They ruled Luxembourg until 1890, but its core remained the small fortified territory around Luxembourg City, which became known as the Gibraltar of the North. Its heavily fortified capital dominated the surrounding countryside and withstood countless sieges and occupations, including those by the French, Spanish, and Dutch. But like many a second son, he sought to forge his own path and make his own mark on the world. Enter stage left loose. For Siegfried, the wooded hilltop in the middle of nowhere presented an opportunity. With a bit of work, he could transform the abandoned villa into a defensible fortress, watch over the busy trade route below, and maybe carve out his own independent domain. And yet, despite its size, scope, and wealth, Luxembourg has managed to retain its unique cultural identity. Luxembourgish, a language descended from Old Frankish, is still spoken by around 3/4 of the population, and the Grand Duchy remains deeply committed to neutrality and peace, earning it the nickname Little Switzerland. And so he did. Amidst this patchwork, a minor deal went down that would have major repercussions, and around it a small settlement began to take shape. Fast forward to today, and you can still explore the foundations of that first castle, the Bock Promontory in Luxembourg City, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Siegfried of Ardennes purchased a small forested hilltop called Lucilinburhuc from the Abbey of St. This was no ordinary patch of land. Perched above the Alzette River, it offered a commanding view of trade and military traffic between Gaul and the East. It passed from Siegfried's descendants to the families of Limburg then Chini before returning to the House of Ardennes. In 1136, Emperor Lothar III elevated Luxembourg to the status of a county within the Holy Roman Empire, giving its ruler a seat at the imperial table. Over the next 2 centuries, Luxembourg's counts married into some of Europe's most prominent houses, including the Spanish royals and the kings of Bohemia. In 1354, Charles IV of Luxembourg, a descendant of Siegfried, was elected Holy Roman Emperor. His son Wenceslaus succeeded him both in Luxembourg and as emperor, followed by Charles's brother another Luxembourg archimperial. Plus it came with an added bonus, a dilapidated Roman villa that might have once been a lookout post. So why does any of this matter? By 987, he'd built a fortified tower there, which may have looked something like this. For the next 2 centuries, Luxembourg changed hands several times. During this period, Luxembourg's ruling dynasty also expanded its holdings, and yet throughout all this turbulence, Luxembourg never disappeared as a political entity. Its institutions, language, and legal traditions endured even under external rulers. Today, the foundations of that original fortress are buried beneath Luxembourg City, the world's second smallest capital after Vatican City. But its legacy lives on. What started as a small fortified settlement on a rocky hilltop has grown into a major European financial center. From frontier outpost to fortress town to sovereign state, Luxembourg's history has been shaped by its strategic location, natural fortifications, and the ambitions of a few key individuals. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave your suggestions for topics we should cover in the future.